Well, guys, good to be here again. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and your support here so far. In the last 24 hours, it's been about Comrade Adams Oshiomhole of Edo State. And of course, we all know that he got into Edo State on Saturday night, and there was a huge crowd of supporters that came around him. But of course, there was really no much details about his reason for coming into Edo State. And while there were those much, supporters or purported supporters, as reported, a comrade, that is Chris Obo, has also come out to tell the world on the reason Oshiomhole is in Edo State, that Oshiomhole is so shameless that he brainwashed the APC leaders into participating in the celebration of his brother's demise. They said his brother died and he came to Edo State, but he came with some rather to come about to campaign instead of him to grieve the loss of his brother, which is a show a show of shame on his part, because if it is time to grieve, I believe he should take it really serious and grieve the loss of the brother. And when it is time to celebrate and campaign, he should face that, because right now Chris Oboy, comrade, also said that this is a show of shame by Adams Oshiomhole, that he came because of the loss of his brother, but rather he has already held meetings with chieftains of his party, and rather going about to campaign and also defame the sitting governor of Edo State. Well, guys, these and many more I'm going to be bringing to you, because it seems Adams Oshiomhole is really ready this time around to really bring down Governor Obaseki. And the truth is, he was not pained by the demise of his brother, who he came for, but rather he was more into the political meeting. But Comrade Chris have actually come out to lash him about his behavior while he landed in Edo State. Okay, guys, let us dive right into the details of this report. But before then, you know how we do it right here. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe also. Yes, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't you haven't turned on your notification bell, please do, because that is the only way you get notified anytime we drop a new video. Okay, let us dive right into the details as to what Comrade Chris Obo said and how Oshiomhole brainwashed APC leaders into participating in the celebration of his brother's demise. The inevitability of death and the convincing fact that God is the owner of life is enough for any Homo sapien to always have a moment of sober reflection whenever a fellow is being passed on to glory. It beats one imagination to note that a man of Oshiomhole's standing is celebrating the demise of his brother, wherein he succeeded in wooing political leaders of APC to his house at Iyamo, country home, only to climax the show of shame with the sharing of a paltry sum of 3,000 naira, each for the grey-headed fathers and uncles who sold their rights to good conscience like the biblical Esau. Recall that Oshiomhole sneaked into Auchi on Saturday night, few hours after the internment of his brother, Honorable Zakawanu Garuba, and celebrated for hours with commercial motorcyclists alongside indoctrinated and brainwashed APC party leaders, wherein today's celebration was scheduled to hold at 1 p.m. around Auchi and its environs. It was, however, allegedly halted due to security intelligence reports that it was going to result in renting of air with stones like a deluge by some frayed nerves who understood the intrigues, mockery, and disdainful display over the attempted impeachment process of Oshiomhole, while Honorable Zakawanu held sway as the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly for his alleged involvement in the 25 billion naira Auchi Gully erosion project fraud, wherein the panel of inquiry recommended his impeachment. The inevitability of death and the indisputable fact that all men are mere mortals is what we should not be oblivious of. His knack and gluttonous appetite, vindictiveness, and lack of respect for the dead once galvanized him into celebrating the death of Abba Kyari in a gym, which went viral and ultimately led to his political crashing, like the proverbial pack of cards wherein he was unceremoniously shown the way out of the corridors of power. May God reward every man according to his deed, be it overt or covert. That was Oshiomhole and his shameful display of a shameful display at the on the death of his own brother, because he seemed like he wasn't actually there for any form of he wasn't there for any form of sober reflection on the death of his brother, but rather he was there to celebrate. And the worst part of it, he was there and he was giving everyone 3,000 naira, and not just that, he gave the kinsmen and also the leaders of the All Progressive Congress. He was sharing money for them so that they can give himself support. As earlier said, that if he comes to the town, that he will be stoned. But because he came in on on the ground that he was coming to to bear the loss of his own brother, everyone allowed him in, but rather he turned that into a political rally for his candidate, because of course he held a meeting with some of the supporters of the APC at about 1 p.m. on Sunday, and it was he was even sharing money for the motorcyclists and all. He brought them together, trying to campaign for his candidate of the All Progressive Congress. And of course, I believe by now Oshiomhole should understand the difference between a time to grieve and a time to be excited. And a man of his standing shouldn't be seen doing any of such things that children will do, that they will be, that they will be disciplined for, because his brother's demise did not really get to him. Because if that actually got to him, that would be the first point he would have visited when he got to Edo State. But rather, he was making campaign promises like he is the one that wants to be voted for. And I believe by now Edo State people should understand when the candidate that is about to be the governor is seated, should be different from any other person making campaign promises for them. Because at the end of the day, it is not about the party, it is about the individual. Because if not that Governor Obaseki knew what he wanted for the state of Edo, of course, he would have been a machinery of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. But of course, they had issues because he refused to be his machinery and refused to, submit totally to him. I wouldn't even call that submission, because he wanted Obaseki to be his puppet, that whatever he tells him to do, he will just go about doing it. If you ask him to, embezzle the treasury of the state, he should just go ahead to do that. But really, that is not about governance. And I think it's high time the Nigerians shun godfatherism when it has to do with politics. Allow those that have good agenda for their state. Let them, serve the state properly. Let them not be, diverted by whatever thing the party wants for them, because most of the states of Nigeria now, it is the party that decides what happens to the state, not even the individual the people voted for. So right now, I think it is time that Nigerians really look critically at the people that they want in their offices and people they want to be their leaders, because the more bad leaders you have, the more likely the state is going to be in penury and continues to suffer. Because of course, especially in the All Progressive Congress, they like that everyone is doing the same thing in the party. But really, individuals are different, and they should understand that. That was the case that happened to Ambode of Lagos State, because he refused to totally submit to godfatherism. He was kicked out of office, exactly what is happening to Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State, because he's refusing to bow down to godfatherism. He's almost being kicked out of the state as well. But all the same, I believe by now Nigerians should understand that godfatherism will not bring a good democracy to Nigeria. It will rather crumble the democracy in Nigeria and even make things worse for the people of Nigeria. So guys, like Chris Obo said, that Oshiomhole should actually do what brought him to Edo State, because if it is time to grieve, you grieve. If it's time to celebrate, you celebrate. Don't mix the two together. Even the Bible says that. that. So guys, that is it. You've heard it all. Whatever you have to say, endeavor you drop it in the comment section, because we'll be waiting to hear from you, be waiting to read from you. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do, and also turn on your notification bell. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for being here. Do have a pleasant time. Bye for now.